Hey Fae folk, welcome back. So we got some images of some Playline K-pop Demon Hunter dolls that are going to be coming out later this year, and obviously I have to talk about them. I do think that the existence of Mattel's collector K-pop Demon Hunter dolls is like an elephant in the room, and we will be discussing that sort of at the end of the video. But for the beginning of the video, I just want to focus on the images of the dolls that are going to be at a more Playline level that we know are going to be coming out, because I haven't talked about those before and I'm really excited about some of them. And I just need a moment to gush before we start talking about the slightly more controversial aspect that is, again, the existence of the collector dolls. Now, for this video, I am specifically going to be talking about only the dolls. We did get announcements for like a bunch of other different toys that are going to be making K-pop Demon Hunter collabs. I know like there's going to be Furby. Nerf is going to make some replicas of the girls' weapons, which I do think is really cool. But I'm just focusing in on the dolls because this is a doll channel, and that is in fact what I care about the most. So as we go through, these are just going to be my opinions. You're obviously free to disagree with me. Just like be nice about it if you want to express that in the comments down below. And if you find yourself entertained by all of the nonsense that I have to say in this video, if you could like, comment, hype, or subscribe, that would be super duper helpful to me. But without further ado, let's just jump on in, because like we've been waiting long enough. Okay, it's time to look at the dolls. Because I am actually, in fact, quite bad at introductions to my videos, I did forget one other thing. I do feel like any conversation around K-pop Demon Hunters, and especially when it pertains to the merch, again, in this case, dolls, it is hard to ignore the fact of like, this should have been out significantly earlier. I do think that that's been talked about enough. I've already talked about it, so I'm not really going to address that in this video outside of just saying, yeah, it really sucks that everyone involved sort of thought the movie was going to be a flop, and now everything is super behind in terms of producing merch. It's way too late, obviously, for any of that to change, so it is what it is. I'm just going to be looking at these and not really commentating on that. So I am going to start off with the ones that I'm the most excited about, which, like, I understand is not the way that you build tension in a video, but I don't really care. I need to talk about these. And that is the, like, core lineup of dolls. These are rumored to be $26.99 US. I am not 100% certain if that price is, like, set in stone yet, but that's, like, the number that is floating around, which I do think, given the current doll market, is a reasonably priced doll, especially since it's a collaboration. Like, sometimes those dolls get really expensive. So I do think that that's, about to be expected. I don't really have any feelings on that. But there are 4 dolls in the core lineup. So we obviously have the Huntrix girls, we have Rumi, Mira, Zoe, and then we also get Jinu, who I'm very excited about. But let's go ahead and just start off with Rumi. I am so, and this is going to be the theme for all of these dolls, spoiler alert, so pleasantly surprised by how these have come out. We'll talk more about that when I start talking about the collector stuff, but I really genuinely did not expect these to look this good, and I'm just now realizing I'm gonna have a really hard time like containing myself in this video because I'm a little bit too excited. But okay, here is Rumi. It looks like she has a decent amount of detail on her, which is the part that I'm like so hype about. These dolls do have good articulation. It looks like they have knee joints, and then when we look at the other dolls, you'll see that it looks like they have wrist and elbow joints, which I really appreciate that. These are characters who fight and dance, and so I think static pose dolls just do make a little bit less sense. She's got her jacket separate from her shirt, which should be the baseline. But we've seen some things on the Playline market, okay? You never know for sure. It looks like her necklace, too, is a separate piece. She even has a plastic piece that's like the shoulder pad on the one side of her jacket, which is super, super cool. I love that detailing. There is a decent amount of printed detailing, some on the shorts, and then a lot on the jacket. For the price point that we're getting, I do personally feel like this is acceptable if it were all printed on. For example, like the pockets on her shorts, if we jump down there, those are completely printed on, but the zipper in the middle is like a 3D piece. If all of that was printed and there weren't any belt loops and like her shoulder pad was just printed on, that would bother me. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised, but that would bother me. I do think that this is a happy medium where we're getting the details where it counts, but also it's not like every single thing is embroidered, because that would obviously bring the cost way up. So I think this is really, really solid. Yeah, the shorts look good. She's got like her little, I don't know if keychain is like technically the right term, but she's got like a charm attached to the shorts. She does come with her sword, which I love to see. And then she's got her boots, which I mean, their boots, their hair. My one complaint would be that the hair is like so too short. In the movie, it is like damn near to the ground. It feels like in the braid. It is like at the very least reaching her knees. But if I'm remembering correctly, I actually think it's closer to reaching her ankles. So this is way too short on the hair front. Like her braid is definitely not long enough. I'm not surprised. Like, in a sense, I am disappointed because it would be so cool to get to see that, to have her have like movie accurate hair. But at the same time, I do recognize that it's just going to cost more. And I mean, if the trade off is that we got some of these 3D details and her hair has to be a little bit short, I can tolerate it. Overall, I'm very happy with how Rumi turned out. I do think that this is quite solid. I feel like I had to start with her because she is the main character of the film, but now we get to move to like my personal favorite, who is Mira. Out of the three, I really like her. I think that she's so fun and like just sassy. I don't know. I love her a lot. She looks fabulous. I just hello, she looks so good. Funnily enough, because her hair is not in the braid. It actually is longer than Rumi's. I will admit that sort of bothers me. I might have to cut her hair when I get her, just so that it's more like proportionally accurate. But for play purposes, it's nice that she's got like lovely long hair. Again, she has her weapon, and I think her weapon is also the coolest out of all of them. Like it's just enormous, and I love that they didn't scale it like super far down for this doll. I do understand in some circumstances like that could be something that needs to be done, but for the core doll, I just really appreciate that she has the huge weapon. Similar levels of detail it looks like for her. She also has a sort of shoulder pad piece there, a 3D chain on her skirt, and it also looks like she has fabric thigh high boots. Hello. I did not expect that at all, and I'm so excited for her. Like she just looks so incredible. I do think that her outfit, like just comparatively design wise from Rumi's, is just inherently a little bit more simplistic. Like she doesn't have the jacket with all the patches and shit, so it does feel a little bit less adapted. I guess it makes it feel, at least in my mind, maybe slightly more accurate. I don't know. She also has these fingerless gloves that it looks like they should be removable. That's very exciting stuff. I'm obsessed with her. And then to move on to the final Huntrix girly pop, we have Zoe. I think she looks so cute. And I know I keep saying that I'm going to be talking about the collector dolls at the very end. I will. But one thing that I will note here is that when we got those mock-ups for the collector dolls, I did think Zoe's face was the worst out of the three. I just thought that it looked a little bit off, not quite correct. This looks excellent. I think this face is much better than what we saw in the mock-ups. I'm really hoping that this ends up being the same sculpt and like screening roughly and everything that we get on the collector dolls, just because I do think this is more accurate. And if that's not the case, when I get the collector dolls, I will have to buy another one of her to head swap because I think they really really improved the face. And the funny thing is I can't even pinpoint what it is. There's just something that feels a little bit more accurate to Zoe, and I'm just so happy for her because I was like, wow, that kind of sucks that the other characters, I love the face sculpts from the collector images before, and I think the Rumi and the Mira look just as good here as they did on that, but Zoe looks even better. So like kudos for her. And also if they do end up having two different head sculpts, if it's not exactly the same, having the better one be the Playline one is obviously the better like version of that scenario. So I'm super duper happy to see that. Her hair also I think looks really good. I will say with how tight and small the buns are, I would imagine she would have to be rooted pretty thinly to be able to achieve this style. For me, for someone who would rather it be character accurate in this case, because it is a character doll. Like, obviously, if you wanted to buy these dolls to like customize and restyle and everything, that is your prerogative for sure. But it is a character doll. It is not meant to be like a nebulous thing. It is supposed to be like, hey, here's the doll from the movie. I would rather her be rooted thinly to achieve a more accurate and better looking hairstyle. That's just my personal take. So I obviously don't know that for sure. These dolls aren't out yet, but I imagine she has to be rooted pretty thinly to accomplish this. And in this instance, I am actually all for it because I do think her hair looks really good. Now, I have seen some people say that she looks like she has sort of the worst outfit, and I can sort of see what people are saying in the sense that there does feel like there's a lot more printed on detail with her outfit. It doesn't bother me. I don't know. I think much in the same way of Rumi's patches and everything, I can see why they chose to print on a lot of these elements, and I think that it still looks good. I don't know. I'm not arguing that she's like maybe the least quality looking in terms of clothing out of the three, but I definitely don't think that she looks bad. I like that her suspenders are a 3D piece. She's got her little throwing knives, which is super cute. I love her shoes too, and like the baggy pants. I don't know. I think that these three all look genuinely so fabulous. I am over the moon with how good these look. I'm just so excited. And then we have Gino. I'm so glad they made him like a good doll, a good articulated doll. Because we all know, I think, that boy dolls tend to get less attention than girl dolls. And despite being a huge component of the movie, like one of two like key characters, he still could have been given that treatment. And so I'm really, really happy that it looks like some care was given to his design. So first thing with Gino, his face sculpt, incredible. I don't even think I've said this yet. These dolls are being produced by Mattel. One thing I will say about Mattel, okay, I give them shit constantly, and I'm planning on giving them shit again soon in future videos. But they know how to do face molds. Obviously, they've still had their misses, like everyone is going to, but my God, are they good? They're so good. Honestly, just their sculpting in general, I feel like is really, really solid when they actually put their minds to it. But the faces that they can make are incredible, and he looks fabulous. Now there is some like debate online, as I think always happens when a boy doll has rooted hair, or not rooted hair, molded hair, about whether it should have been rooted hair. Personally, I'm okay with the molded. I think my thing is that in an ideal world, I absolutely would prefer rooted hair, but we do not live in an ideal world. And I just have seen too many boy dolls who have a very short hairstyle, who have rooted hair, who look like absolute ass, even when it is gelled to hell and back. Like, it's just a hard thing to pull off. And I would rather have the guarantee that the molded hair is at least going to appear nice than have like the optimistically 70-30 chance that rooted hair just looks like a helmet and looks really, really bad and you can't wash it out or it will look even worse. That's sort of just my take. I understand why people prefer rooted hair in general. Again, I would be in that camp in an ideal world. But for this doll, I personally think that the molded hair was the correct choice. Now, outfit wise, he does have, it seems like a little bit less detail than the girls, but I do think a lot of that is just because his outfit is less detailed in the movie to begin with. So it's like there's not as much to do, but he's got the earrings, he's got the chain, he's got sunglasses. This boy has accessories. It also looks like this might be a two-layer shirt situation. I'm hoping so hard that this is not like all velcroed together in the back, that this is actually two layers, the pink undershirt and then the button up on top. I just, please, please give us this. He does have, it looks like belt loops in which his belt is like run through. The belt, it appears to be plastic, so I would think that it's a separate piece. But even if the belt is sewn to the pants, the fact of it being like, hey, we actually have fabric belt loops going over this. Thank you. Thank you. He's got working pockets. He's sticking his little hand in his front pocket there. Like, hello, hello. I'm so excited about him. I'm so glad that they included him. I'm so glad that he actually looks really, really good. And I need I don't care if it's a collector level. I would prefer Playline, but I don't care if it's a collector level. I need all of the Sacha boys to be made with this level of detail. Like at least this level of detail. I need to be able to get all of them. Like the group is incomplete. I have to be able to get all of them. So I'm quite literally on my hands and knees begging Mattel to make those two. They have not been announced. Please. But that is probably enough about the core dolls. So let's go ahead and move on to the next dolls in the lineup, which is another trio, the Huntrix trio. These are the singing dolls. So they are 32.39 allegedly in the US. And again, you're getting the Huntrix, so Zoe, Rumi, and Mira. And these are in some ways, you know, better and in some ways worse quality wise. They are on more budget bodies. They don't have any articulation in the knees, and it looks like probably not the elbows, so I would guess not the wrists either. The clothing I do think is It's okay. It's a little bit lackluster in my opinion. It's definitely not terrible. It's just not like stellar, but they sing. They do sing Golden, and I think that is going to be an enormous hit with kids, especially. Obviously, I think a lot of collectors are really going to love these too, but kids, especially, I think are going to go feral for the singing dolls because Golden is like the song of the movie, right? I mean, it's literally breaking records with how much it is beloved. I just don't feel like I will need these. Primarily because one, I did order the collector set, which has similar outfits, not exactly the same, Golden versus what it sounds like, different songs, different outfits, but similar outfits. And also, I do want the core dolls really bad. And so it's like, okay, that's already two sets of these characters. Do I love these enough to get a third set? I personally don't think so. And don't hate me, Golden is not my favorite song from the movie. I do think it's a good song. I see why people like it. I also have it in my playlist in rotation. Like, I do like it, but it's like literally not even fourth place. I think my top three, it's Your Idol, Soda Pop, and then What It Sounds Like. Those are my top three songs from the movie. If you want me to pick a fourth, I honestly would pick Free before I would pick Golden. So, like, I understand why, again, Golden is the song. Like, obviously, that's the one that they were going to pick, but it's not the song that I like the most. And so, for a myriad of reasons, I just don't feel like these are dolls that I will have to add to my collection. But I do think that this was a smart set of dolls to make, and I think that they will do really well, and I think a lot of other people are really going to love them. Now, one more thing to get through before we finally get to the collector dolls that I've been talking about, and that is like, it's sort of a mid tier doll where it's Playline. I don't know. They're calling it a deluxe fashion doll. So I guess you could say it's technically Playline, but the price to me is like a lower level collector doll. So I mean, label it how you want to. This doll is alleged to be $53.99 US dollars, and it is Rumi in like the dark, like spy sort of outfit from the bathhouse scene. I do think this is really cool. Like, I do think that this is a super fun doll. I just don't know if I want to spend that much money on her. Like, looking at her, I do think she's well executed, but the braid is still too short. And like, I can accept the braid being too short at 27-ish dollars. But when you want me to pay over $50, I don't know. I feel like the braid needs to be longer. It's hard to tell from the picture what the quality is like for this because there are, like, it looks like potentially a couple of layers, but there's still like a lot of plastic pieces, and the plastic pieces aren't even painted. She does have her like handkerchief tied around her arm from when Ginu like saw her arm and then covered up. That's pretty sick. I do like that little detail. Like, this is a solid doll. I also really love the darker makeup that she has for this one. I just think she's too expensive. So she's one that, like, maybe I would get on a sale. But again, I already am intending to have in my collection two Rumi dolls. I'm intending to have two sets of the Huntrix in general. So I'm just, do I need a third? I don't really know. I don't really know about that one. So she's sort of up in the air for me, but I do think this is a fun scene to pick from for a like more deluxe doll. I think this is, one of those outfits that wasn't utilized for a long time in the movie, but it did stand out. I thought when they were all dressed in these like super dark, again, like more spy sort of outfits, it was really, really cool. So I like that they pulled from that. I just think it's a little too expensive for what they're offering us. So not a bad doll, just perhaps a bad price. But with that being said, I have to talk about the collector dolls, okay? Because I ordered the collector set. There was a ton of drama. I made a whole video about it. Just one. I think I only made one video about it, but I made a whole video talking about it. The basics of it were that when we got the pictures, and the picture that I'll be showing you now, that's just like not even an actual prototype. It's just like, oh gosh, this is what the dolls are going to look like, a composite image basically of these dolls. So that was controversial to ask people to spend, I believe it was $150 on dolls that still aren't going to come out until like October of this year. And we don't even get to see so much as a prototype for them. That was like a whole big thing. I bought them. And the reason that I gave, the main reason that I gave, was that I really love Kpop Demon Hunters, and I really, really, really wanted to have some of those dolls in my collection. But at the time that like pre-order was happening, we had no images of Playline dolls. We knew they would be coming, but we didn't have any images of Playline dolls. And my thought process was, if we are looking at like the estimated quality that we're getting for the collector dolls, I was hypothesizing that the Playline dolls were going to be genuinely terrible, or they'd be extremely expensive for Playline dolls. Happily, I am wrong. Happily, that is not the case. Outside of the Bathhouse Roomie being a little expensive to me, I think the core dolls, which like arguably are the most important ones, I genuinely think that those look really, really solid, and I think that they're at a good price. I'm so stoked for those. But I didn't know that at the time, so I was like, listen, I don't know if I trust Mattel to make incredible Playline dolls for this. I'm not willing to risk missing out on what could be the only good Kpop Demon Hunter dolls. So I bought the collector set. Now I know that the collector set is in fact not going to be the only good Kpop Demon Hunter dolls. And I'm so anxious now. I'm not canceling my order. I still want to see how they turn out. I still really like those outfits. At this point, I've already spent the money. So like, yes, I could get a refund, but I don't know. I still want to see how they turn out. I will say though, the stakes are so high for Mattel. I doubt anyone from Mattel is watching this, but if you are, you better get that shit right. Because if you're going to give us what you are giving us with the core dolls, like that level of quality and detail for $27 a doll, and then I paid $150 for the collector 3-pack, they better look fucking good. They better look really good or have a really cool box. Even though I'm not a box person, I understand that that like can justify some of the price point. The bar has been raised. And so I'm now both more nervous and more excited than ever about getting to see the actual finalized versions of those collector dolls, because like now the tables have turned. Now it is not, oh God, if you're giving us this, sorry, I got too excited. My words ran away from me. Now, instead of it being, this is what we're getting for collectors, imagine how bad Playline is going to be. It's flip-flopped. It's, oh my God, look at what we're actually getting for a Playline decent price. The collector dolls better live up to it. So I'm feeling tense, both in a good and a bad way. I'm very, very excited to get to see those. But just in general, I'm super excited that these are coming out and that they actually look good. And I'm just like itching to see more Kpop Demon Hunter stuff on the shelves. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the fact that it's like super late, but I'm going to talk about it a little. I'm really curious to see how the sales go, because I'm still going to be interested, because I know my brain. By the time these come out, unfortunately, I will not have moved on and I will still be stuck on this movie, because I get stuck on things for years. Like, I don't watch much media. If you've been around for a long time, you know this. I have a hard time sitting down and absorbing something new. I have a hard time with like connecting with something new. But the second I do connect with something, I'm locked in for years. So I'm still going to be interested. But I am very curious to see if like the general populace is still interested in Kpop Demon Hunters by the time these come out, or if so much of the hype will have died down that like these don't do that well. Kids especially, just because I feel like in general kids might have slightly shorter attention spans. I wonder if they're gonna care at all. I hope they do, because I do hope that these do well, because I'm really excited about them, but only time will tell. Anyway, that was the little addendum that, again, I wasn't supposed to speak on, because I said I wasn't going to talk about the fact that it has been ages, but I don't know. I just have a lot of thoughts. In general, though, they are quite positive. I'm very, very excited about these. I think that was obvious. But that is finally going to be it for me for today, guys. That's everything that I needed to say. I desperately need to hear everything that you were thinking about these dolls in the comments. I want to know what you're thinking about the Playline dolls, but also, are you sort of feeling me when I talk about the collector dolls, or have you like canceled your order? I have seen some people say that seeing the Playline dolls made them cancel their collector order. So I'm just nosy about how y'all are feeling about that. So please do let me know down below. But with that, we're going to go ahead and close out for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, or whatever it might be. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.